Hello everyone. Just doing a goofy video here. I got some stuff to update, but this is the mature male Brachypelma albopilosum. We believe he's a Nicaraguan, but we can't be sure, so I can't send him to breed with other females without knowing for sure if he's hobby form or Nicaraguan. But by his coloring and his looks, I've had a couple people now say that he looks more Nicaraguan than he does hobby form. But he hasn't eaten but once since I got him back in September, and he's been sketchy lately. Hasn't been doing all that great. So I took his hide out and filled his water dish up. This was 4 or 5 days ago. He spent like an hour in that thing. And then he perked up. So, I mean, you could see his abdomen is not very big. Well, I've tried feeding him a million times. And if you look, he actually has a cricket. He actually ate a cricket. This is the first time in, God, I can't tell you. I mean, I'd have to look, but it's been a long time. Look at, he's going after that one too. It's like he grabs that second one. There, he's getting it, but he doesn't actually take it. But he does have the one, so I'm going to leave the other one in there, and I'm kind of excited that he actually is eating. And he's been drinking water like a mad fiend, so he did spin a sperm web and then destroyed it. This was about a month ago, and that's when he started to take a turn for the worst. But yeah, he's looking good now. Well, looking better. I don't want to say he's looking good. He's looking better now. But at least we got a meal into him, and I'll show you. I moved some things around here. That's going to be next on the update part, but I wanted to give you guys a shot of him, and I'll show you the quick updates of what I've been up to, and we'll probably feed a few teas, and we're going to rehouse my Centruides gracilis scorpion, the Arizona bark scorpion. He just hangs out on a piece of wood, so I'm going to move him into something taller so that I could put a taller piece of wood or a couple pieces of wood in there and let him climb along the wood like they normally do in the wild. So that's going to free up a big container and going into a, I'll show you. Give me a second. Okay, so there he is, or she is. I don't know. I've never even bothered to try to sex this thing. It's in one of those very useful boxes. That's what they're called, very useful box. And it kind of hangs out on this wood all the time. So what I'm going to do is move him out of there, and we're going to move him into that. Okay, so it's not going to have the base of this, so all that area from the moo, but I'm only going to put a little bit of substrate in there, and then we'll put pieces of bark in there for him to climb, and then the water dish, and he'll be perfectly content. And that'll give me, it'll free up this container for something else. What that is yet, I'm not really quite sure who will go in there, but I'll put somebody in here, and then free up a smaller container and move one of the tarantulas out of the 32-ounce deli cups into something that's a tad bit bigger. So yeah, that's going to be next on the list. So I'm going to get that done tonight, and I'll show you a couple other things. Okay, so you can't tell, but there's one of the adult assassin bugs. The adults are still doing good. The other day I fed them, and I fed one a dubia roach, and it took it right off, and I had 2 super worms left, so I fed one to one. It took it right away, and the other one I kind of had to entice it a little bit, but it finally grabbed it. And when I did, the worm kind of like pulled itself back up on itself, like up on the tongs, and the assassin bug ran right up the tongs onto my arm. It's not something you want to get bit by. So I was again, I remained calm. I grabbed my little catch cup, I coaxed it into the catch cup, it went right in there, no problem, and then put it right back into the container. But when I was doing all that, if you can see, let me you can't see him right now. Anyway, if I stir this up, maybe we'll be able to see them, but I don't want to stir it up too much. Maybe you won't see them. No, they're buried back again. Anyway, I found probably in the neighborhood of 30 more eggs laid in their adult container. So I'm going to just leave those ones in here. The first set I took out and separated them, and then that didn't seem to work very well, so I put them all together. And then, of course, you guys know what I would call the hatching chamber, or the little place where I put all the eggs. The second set of eggs should be hatching in the next 2 weeks, I would think. I did get exactly 28 out of the first hatching. All the eggs hatched. I got 28 babies. Of course, I lost the 10 in that stupidity move of mine that drowned them, so that took me down to, we'll say, 18. And then we had a couple cannibals. So we're at, right now, I have 13 babies. 2 of them have molted. But yeah, so we're going to have a whole bunch more eggs. They're not stopping laying the eggs. There was quite a few of them in here, actually, and they were right on top, but I got to clean that out. Stirring, I think there's one right there. Yeah, there's one right there. But yeah, just counting the ones I saw on the surface was about 30, so I started to dig around in there, and there was a handful more, so who knows how many there are this time. And I don't really want to take them back out again and then sift through all the dirt again. I'm just going to let them go and see what happens. They're not going to be hurt. They hatch in the adults' containers and other people's collections, so I'm going to see what happens with these ones and go from there. So, yeah, so that's the scorpion, the mature male albopilosum, and the assassin bugs, and we're going to... Okay, so here is the leopard geckos. Cleaned them out. We're going to give the cocoa fiber a try. Some people have already complained to me about it, and some people have said that's what I keep them on. You know, a lot of people like the paper towels because it's easy for them. These things come from Iran and Afghanistan and Iraq, so they live in dry dirt conditions. This stuff's not really going to hurt them. They're not going to get impacted with their feeding. I think that's, I'm not saying that they can't, but I think that's more of a myth. That is Saul right there. He was the one that we thought was male, but now I'm not too sure. It's not very cooperative when I flip it over to give it a look, so it doesn't really matter what they are. They're still not completely full grown. I think Luna is almost there, but yeah, I fed them. Those are the other crickets and some little mealworms. Luna likes the mealworms. Sol does not. He likes the crickets. So that's them. There's their big cave. And that's where they actually like to be, inside there. It's more of those small crevices that they find and live in the wild. So that's that. So what we did, that's my nightstand. Okay, that's where I had majority of these guys here. Okay, and they moved over here because I finally put the shelf up. So it gives me a lot more room to work with. It's all the Chilobrachys up on top with the dwarf white isopods, and then, you know, the arboreal slings there. Those are wolf spiders. The big container there is one of the GBBs. And then these things fit real nice here. And here is the baseball cubes, the ones in the baseball cubes. And here's the one wolf spider in the Ferrero Rocher container. So I didn't really make any moves here yet. I do have, you know, the room here now to, well, actually, all this stuff goes there. The assassin bugs, the scorpion, and the female Brachypelma pilosum Nicaraguan actually go there, but you could see if, oh yeah, there we are. This little bugger. Look how big he is. This is the Euapelus species, or yeah, Euapelus campostratus, not the Euapelus species. I don't know what I'm saying. Suspected male. Do a molt soon. Same with him. Opie. These guys are all going to get watered tonight. They shouldn't need to be fed. Not these ones anyway. But we do need to feed the Tigranowacelli right there. And we'll feed the E. olivacea. Norman's going to get moved. There's Norman. We're going to feed the Cerata gyrus starlingi. Oh, he's still hanging up there. It's a Homoeoma species blue. It lives on top there. He likes it there. But there's the regalis, big girl. I think she's a girl. But yeah, everyone's doing fantastic. And I have one more thing I want to show you real quick. Well, two, actually. I don't know if we'll be able to see. This is the Heteroscodra maculata. Molted. I tore the molt trying to sex it, but it's still small. Yeah, we can't see him. He's hiding. He or she's hiding. Looks like it put on a little bit of size this time. Maybe a good 1/4 to 3/8 of an inch bigger than it was before. There is the Gramostol pulchra. But this is the one we want to see. This is the Nandu Colorado villosus. She molted. So we're going to pull the molt out, and I'll pin it and see if we can get some pictures or some close-ups of the spermathecae. So give me a little bit to get that taken care of, and I'll be right back. Okay, so here is her enclosure. You could see the molt mat there. There's the molt, and she is inside. She's really, really pretty. She was right next to the molt earlier this morning, so she must have molted last night. She was all scrunched up right there, you know, how they do once they get out. She'll be stretching probably here over the course of the next week, getting all her motor skills back in order. Give her some water, and we'll pull the molt, and then I'll pin it, and we'll try and so you guys can see the spermathecae. Give me one more minute. Okay, once we get off the blurriness, you could see. I'm gonna try and do this with right there. It's not really coming out very clear. Anyway, you can see the two Mickey Mouse ears, what we call them. And then I'm going to put the macro lens on so you guys can see it a little bit better. But what you look at, if you see like the lips going across with those two eyes up and then the actual lips going down, looks like a frog. They call it Freddy the Frog look in the UK. Let me try the macro lens and see if we can get a little bit better pictures. Okay, well, here we go on the macro. This is the, I think, 10 times. You can see now those two plain as day spermathecae, and they're not sclerotized yet, so I don't think she's actually breedable yet. And she's definitely not full size. She's still right around the 4-inch mark, and these will get about 6, I would imagine, somewhere in that area. Nandus are pretty decent size for females anyway. But I know the Dart Den just got a sling from a friend in Poland of these. They're my favorite Nandus. I mean, I like the Caropoensis, but these little, the Colorado villosus are really, really nice. Maybe I may consider breeding her. You know, next year she would probably mature, I would imagine. So she just molted like a day or two ago. The molt was a little crispy, but not crispy to the point where it's unpliable. Just a little bit of water, and I was able to open her right up here. But yeah, so I'm going to try and get this set up a little bit better and get some photos of this to put on the female spermathecae group on Facebook. If you want to know what you should be looking for females as far as spermathecae pictures of different species, look up that group. I think it's called Female Spermathecae. I don't know if Tarantula's in there. I'd have to look. But I think it's definitely Female Spermathecae. But so yeah, that's what that was. What's gone on so far, you know, here over the course of the last few days. I'm gonna take the So yeah, see, even at this, without the macro, you can see those pretty plain as day. And you know, as your tarantulas get bigger, it's a lot easier to notice the females from the males. Now, some species can trick you. The Brachypelma albopilosum and the Brachypelma vagans are two that can trick you because their male accessory organs look like spermatozoa because they're outside. They're like that, but a little bit farther out. So they do trick some keepers. You have to really know what you're looking for with those ones, and they're pretty obvious as well, though, when it's actually a female. I sex both the two smaller ones that I have pretty easily. And that's only because I knew what I was looking for as far as the male accessory organs, and not to get fooled by them at all. But yeah, so I got to get my OBT and the Hopactera pulchripes back up on top of the messing with this molt. I'm already itching like crazy. Even though this is a molt, their hairs are still there, and I'm itching on my left forearm terribly right now. Fortunately for me, I have an anti-itch medication cream that I was given because I was itching all the time. We couldn't figure out what was going on. This was months ago, sometime in January, and I had like little red blotches all over my arms, and I thought it was the spiders. I thought for sure it was the spiders. But, you know, I don't really get into the containers all that much. You know, I mean, I clean with the tongs, and I don't handle them, so we weren't sure. So I went to the doctor, and he didn't think it was he didn't think it was something that I had from work, you know, what they wash our uniforms in there at work, the detergent that they use. So they started using like sorry about that. Yeah, so we weren't exactly sure if it was the spiders or if it was something at work. Well, they changed what they washed my clothes in, and that seemed to have helped. Now, I do know that the mealworms, if I mess with the mealworms too much, those will make me itch, and the roaches will make me itch too. So I have to be careful with that. But that cream usually works. I'm not sure it's going to work with urticating hairs. I haven't been haired yet. But messing with, you know, the Nandu or, you know, the Lasiadoras or the, you know, the Sturmies or the Blondies, you get into their molts. Even their molts still have the hairs, and her molt mat probably is covered in those hairs. So I'm hoping that she destroys that. That she's going to be moved. She's going to be moved out of, oh, my finger's in the way, the shoebox container into a container like that up on top. That's going to be her new home, and she should be fine in there all the way through. I don't think she needs anything that big. Like I said, matter of fact, I think some of those tarantulas that are in there can actually move down to that size there and be perfectly fine, which will, you know, give me a little bit of space, not a lot, but I'll at least be able to stack one more. You know, I mean, the Faunapelma Hensey's not going to move, and neither is the Chalcodes or the Simoni. They're going to stay. But the mall and the Grammostola species north, I think I'm going to move down into the smaller containers, waiting for that Grammostola species, or the mall to molt, and she just doesn't want to do it. I've had her for over a year, and she doesn't want to do it. So yeah, I think Norman's going to go in here, and he'll have a lot of room in here to grow. We'll give him a little bit more dirt because he does like to go and hide underground where the Bomi that was in there didn't. And I think I'm just going to go ahead with the coconut half for a hide, and then we'll put some leaves and some scattered wood in there, and that should be good for him. I do have, of course, with all these tarantulas, you're going to have tarantulas in pre-molt on and off. The Salmopaeus cambridgei is still in pre-molt. The Chaetopelma olivaceum is in pre-molt. Of course, the Campostratus and the Smithy is getting, not Smithy, the Hamori is getting there. Not quite there, but it's getting there. And you can see, you'll see Denver here. You can see how big he is. He'll probably be molting sometime in the near future too. So there'll be some good updates. You know, again, I'm going to move a few things around. We're going to get the Poecilotheria fusca out of the container that's in, which is that milk bone container right there, and it's going to get upgraded to one of those 1 gallon snap tights. Those are a little bit thinner but taller, not as wide, so that actually will give me even, you know, when you have this many and you're trying to get them in here, you know, every couple inches helps. Oh, that guy molted too. I forgot about him. We're hoping that's a him, but his molt is completely wrecked, destroyed. It's in pieces, buried. That is the Aphonopelma simoni. No blue whatsoever. He's dark. I'm hoping it's a he. If it's a he, I won't actively search for a male for the female that I have. Still hasn't molted yet. If I find out that this one's a female, I'll probably either shop this one or probably shop the other one and then look for a male. So yeah, we're doing good here. Everyone seems to be doing okay. Like I said, I do have some spiders that need to be moved. You know, this little Losostema container there, the Brachypelma Emilia and the Nanducaropoensis both need to come out of those. They're getting a tad bit too big for those little containers. The Emilia is not so bad because she's pretty slow, but the Carapoensis is pretty quick, and I don't want it. We don't want anybody bolting. I got to try and feed a centipede tonight too. So yeah, we'll be doing some sling feedings, and there's my container of Skittles. You don't know that. I secretly eat Skittles. I think everybody secretly eats Skittles, but there we go. So again, thanks everybody for the compliments. You know, I like hearing from people that say, you know, I really enjoy listening to you talk about your tarantulas. You know, I hope I don't try to act better than anybody. I hope that, you know, what I talk about and the information that I give is good quality information. And, you know, again, I enjoy seeing everybody else's stuff as much as I see my own. But, you know, this shelf, I'm really excited about the shelf. That really alleviated, because all those things were right here, and then all those were stacked over here. And, you know, sometimes it was hard for me to reach up there and not bump into anything down here. You know, so yeah, things are getting better. I talked to Vlad the other day. He's got 5 Phormictopus cancerides, second instar, 5 Brachypelma vagans, second instar, and 5 or 6 Monosyntropus balfouri, mixture between second and first instars. Those are mine. So roughly 15 to 16 new tarantulas will be coming sometime in the next month, I would imagine. So I'm pretty excited about that, because the male vagans was mine that fathered those babies, so that'll be kind of cool. And I don't have any Phormictopus species. I don't necessarily know that I want 5 cancerides, so I may, you know, give those to some friends or try to sell them, or I don't need 5 vagans either. You know, 2 would be plenty for me to keep of both species, and then maybe 3, and then, you know, move the other ones. But yeah, so we're doing really well here, and we got some big feedings coming up, and there's a lot I need to skip. But someone wanted me to do basically a collection video. It seems like everybody's requesting that from everybody. I've seen Tarantula Dan do it, and then Spider-Man did it, and Marilyn Moore's been doing it, Dave Scott's done it. I've never really done a video where I've taken each tarantula down, you know, and shown each one of them. I probably could do it if that's something that people would be interested in. It'll take me a while because there's 108 of them here. Oh, there's the maculata, freshly molten. Still got that kind of greenish, tannish coloring to it, but it's still not very big, 1 3/4, maybe 2 inches now. I hope it's a female. I really want that white and dark gray and black coloring. That'll really make me happy. So this one's probably got another molt, maybe two, because it's not really gaining much size. This one was a little bit more than the rest of them, but it probably has a molt or two still in this 32-ounce deli cup, and then we'll move it into something bigger. We'll either go to the milk bone container or we'll go to a snap tight. I'm running out of those here. There's only one Walmart around here that had them. I bought the last one the other day, so I have two right now. One for the Vitata, and the other one is going to be a standby. I've considered moving her, my Poecilotheria subfusca, down there, out of that big container into that, so that we could actually see her more. It doesn't necessarily need those containers that big, and those containers will be great for like when the Serrata Jarus Darlingi gets big, or we could even use one of those for the OBT. Now, one of my OBTs could move into there. Some of the species that'll like to dig down, we could probably put a communal of Balfours in there for a while. We'll see. Because she's not going to get very big. The Subfuscas don't get really, really big. 6-7 inches, I think. Really, they're kind of on the small side. The Highlands, the Lowlands get a little bit bigger, but I think the Highlands and the Mirandas are two of the smallest pokies, if I'm right. But yeah, there's Morris. Morris still isn't really showing too many signs of pre-molt. I'd like to get him molted. I'm not going to force feed him. I thought he was actually going to pre-molt. He'll need to eat, so we'll get him fed here too. We'll try feeding the Wicked Witch of the West there. That is Phoenix, the Faunopelma gabelli, who, if somebody had a male, she would be one I would probably try breeding. Now, I'm starting to see a little bit more of the slings out, now. Where before I never even heard of them, because when I bought her as a Faunopelma chalcodes, which she isn't. So yeah, if I found a male, I would probably be interested in, doing a breeding loan, or picking it up if it was cheap enough, and try breeding them, because she just molted not too long ago, so she would be ready. So yep, that's everything. We're going to look at the millipedes. We'll do a video on the millipedes. We'll get them out, try feeding them, see if they'll eat off of me. I have never seen them eat. We put stuff in there and it'll eventually disappear, but they're not very active. The smaller one's hard to find. The bigger one comes out more, but and then this one here, Ephobulbus cyanonathus. The rotten little spider this one is. Not very cooperative at all. So, well, again, thanks for watching, and thanks for the support, and hope you guys enjoyed it. I know I do a lot more of these like update videos than I do feeding videos, and I still haven't actually got the niche, believe it or not, of the feeding videos down. Because I'm still a tad bit nervous of them getting out, so I'm not as brave as some of the other ones are at keeping the containers open. If I find a bigger area, and where if they did get out, it wouldn't be so detrimental. Like in here, it wouldn't be good, because there's just way too many places to hide. So yeah, I'll probably do a pokey feeding video. And we'll probably do a brachy feeding video minus Obi up there. And then from there we'll just do random stuff. I kind of like the feeding videos that are 10 minutes or so. I don't like getting them too long. The quick hits are always a big hit with everybody, but so yeah, there is the Wanderer. She is constantly wandering, trying to get out, finding a way to get out anyway. So well, the Pretoria is probably ready to eat. And I haven't seen, that's the one that worries me, Ramosa. I have no idea. I found the molt, but I haven't found the spider. So I don't know if it buried itself down or not, but we'll probably throw something in there and see if it actually disappears, so I know the spider's actually still alive. So, okay, well, I'm going to end it here, and have a good day, and enjoy.